we had the WWE draft finally. And
do not call it a draft, because a draft considers someone from a team gets moved to another team. If you're just going to tell us the active roster, just give us an update of the active roster.
Basically, you're just reciting names. You took roll call.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's fucking useless. Here's the thing, though. And it just goes into my bigger point that I've been making, that there is no real big change in WWE right now. It's all fucking WWE gaslighting us. Let me just say this, because the whole thing, because I remember all of us predicting what was going to happen at the draft, right? And people had these grandiose ideas. Oh, they're going to do this. I think Triple H wants to make the draft different. He wants to make it special. He's going to make every choice mean something. And literally, it was like lottery, picking names out of a fucking hat. There was no rhyme or reason to the draft. Tell me what draft in any sport, name it, that picks the biggest stars later, that doesn't pick the biggest stars right away.
Well,
does that make any sense?
I'm going to defend WWE because they're sports entertainment. They're not sports.
But it's still supposed to be logical, and this is what I mean.
They did the biggest one of them all. The biggest champion of them all came out and said where he was going first, and that was the first call. Cody came out and said where he was going to stay.
No, because champions all stayed where they were.
Champions have the ability to move.
I didn't hear that.
They had, for the last 3 years of their draft, they had the ability to move.
No, this draft had different rules. The rules were that champions they couldn't be touched. They stayed on whatever respective show they were the champion of.
But that's the thing. Cody wasn't a SmackDown roster person.
Yeah, but now he is, because he's the champion.
Because he's the champion
of that. Yeah. But then they broke that rule later when they drafted the women's tag team champions, which I'm fine with not acknowledging those as real championships. That's fine. But they broke that rule. Then they were like, oh, well, Jimmy's not being drafted because he's injured. But then technically CM Punk is in, even though I think it's a work, he's injured. So like they weren't even following their own rules. There wasn't logic to it. Everybody pretty much stayed on the same show. Here's another thing, real quick. Tell me where the logic is this, right? I think it was like round 1 or 2, right? We have LA Knight available. We have the Bloodline available. We have the Jey Uso available.
Bloodline was the first round.
No, they were like 4th round or some shit. No, I'm telling you, they weren't first round.
They were first round.
I guarantee you they weren't first round.
Triple H is the one that named them, and he did first round.
No, somebody say it. I'm going to pull it up because I know for a fact they weren't.
Bloodline was first round.
There's no way. It was like, all right, it was Bianca Belair, right?
Yeah.
Let me just look it up.
Bloodline.
It wasn't Bloodline, bro.
And it was Carmelo Hayes.
No, I'm going to pull it up so we don't get bogged down in that. But what I'm saying is this. I know for a fact Liv Morgan got drafted before any of those names I just mentioned. I know for a fact.
Look it up, man. I'm not saying anything else. Let's look it up.
All right, and then we'll get right to it. First round. Bianca Belair, Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Seth Rollins.
Okay, so I saw Jey Uso, not the Bloodline.
Yeah.
Okay,
Jey Uso, right? I'm gonna go to the second round. Because look, you can make an argument that Bianca Belair isn't a good first round draft pick compared to all the names that we mentioned already.
You have to understand they have to add women in there, and in women, she's one of the first round picks.
No, that's what I'm saying. You can make an argument either way. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying, though, is we're talking logically. We're not talking equality. We're talking reality. They have this whole thing set up where it's like the 2 war rooms. They're all plotting and scheming together to figure out what's the best picks. And that's what they go with? Look, all right.
Nia Jax, I don't understand.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Randy Orton, Braun Breaker. This is round 2.
Okay.
Nia Jax, Liv Morgan. They're sitting in the war room. They're plotting. How do we make the best show ever?
No.
Wait, hold on. Listen. We have the Bloodline. We have LA Knight. We have all these stars that we could pick. But hold on, we have to lock down Liv Morgan. We have to second round pick, bro. Liv fucking Morgan. It has to happen. We can't have a show without her.
Listen, I remember.
Get the fuck out of here.
I remember in the draft. Oh, they did choose two. That's crazy. Never mind. Because when they were saying it, the one would say one, and one would say the other, and then one would say one. And one
they were
would
going back and forth.
Yeah, so they did it right. They did it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So Randy Orton to SmackDown, Braun Breaker, great picks. Two great picks. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But then this is where I'm saying it goes into like, all right, they're just playing equality rather than
how I see it. Go back to the first round if you can.
Right there.
Okay, so that even defeats what I was going to say, because I thought they were picking one female, one male as a round pick, but they're not even doing that.
Here's another thing though: they're picking like every single pick. They sell it like it's the greatest thing ever. Like, where is the like the like? There has to be some kind of rating system to where like where not every pick is the greatest pick ever. Sometimes you got to pick like have a choice that people go like, fuck that guy. You know what I mean? Because he's a heel or something like that. People don't like him. Like there was like zero story being told, and there was nothing different from this draft and a Vince McMahon draft. In fact, I would say Vince McMahon drafts made more sense.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think their formula is to not formularize anything Vince is doing. So I believe because Vince did the whole like the roster sitting down watching the draft and teams getting split up, that's a Vince move. So I think they're trying to go outside of the box of that, but they're not doing anything.
Yeah, but Vince actually told stories with his draft. What I'm saying is this too, is like, all right, do you remember when like the first draft ever, Vince drafted Maven?
Yeah.
And he only did that because he wanted the hardcore title.
Right.
But then that night, Maven lost the hardcore title. And then Vince was like, I fucking hate Maven because now I just wasted a draft pick. Because he's a rookie, a nobody, but I only drafted him for... Like, there's a story there because then it carries on to Vince not liking Maven and all that stuff. Like, what I'm saying is there was nothing being told. Nothing. This draft was a waste of fucking time. And the low point of all the shows, like Raw wasn't even a bad show, but every time the draft came on, I was like, fuck this shit. It's a waste of fucking time. Horseshit.
Carmelo Hayes is a good pick.
There's a couple good picks. Braun Breaker.
Braun Breaker is a great pick. Seth Rollins is a good pick.
Seth Rollins. But they all were already there.
They were all already there.
That's the thing I didn't get. This is the only thing that I think they were doing is this whole draft was just for the women's division.
That's what it seems like.
Most of the men stayed where they were. They just shook up the women's division.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
There was like Braun Breaker already had a story where he signed a SmackDown contract, so moving to Raw doesn't really, it was nothing there.
It's not a call up. It's nothing like, oh my God. Yeah. They should have just waited to call him up.
Because they're already starting to say SmackDown's the better show than Raw now. So
I don't know. Maybe not.
That was because of the bloodline.
But then I think the idea is they're going to bring in Jimmy at some point on Raw and then build that story still. But this is the thing too, bro. Again, to my bigger point of it not being a change, and we'll wrap it up after this.
Yeah.
My whole thing was like, I keep getting the feeling that every time like the WWE fans that are like really into this thing because Cody won, they're still high on Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
They're still high on that. And by the way, Cody is just a bore fest as the champ.
Yep.
Doesn't stand up for himself. He fucking doesn't really talk well anymore. He has no motivation. He's fucking boring. But they're still high on that, and they're looking at it like, oh, well, they're only doing the draft to get to the next thing. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like they keep doing is, oh, well, we're doing this to get to the next thing. And then when we get to the next thing, well, we're just doing that to get to the next thing. And then we're doing that to get to the next thing. Like, that's the cycle that WWE...
So it's pretty much just going to the next thing.
It's the gaslighting cycle WWE has us on. And I think I'm starting to peep it. Because it's like, what's different, though? I'm not being entertained.
Hey, if people can go out and buy the same Jordan just in a different color.
Sure. That's why I don't buy Jordans.
Gaslight that too.
If it works, I suppose.
Yep.
I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying my point is this: is I kept like looking at it like, oh well, when they get to Netflix, they're gonna go to a more TV kind of not TV, adult TV kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't even think that. And I'll tell you how we know is the day they get on Netflix, that first episode, if they like still are censoring themselves, they're still not like they're not moving up the, dialing it up a little bit on that first episode. Don't expect it to be. They're just using Netflix as a platform. It's not. They're not looking at it as a change. They just want a place to have Raw. So that's my prediction. I wish I could be more positive about it.
I'm not mad at it if they do or do not.
If you're still entertained, I'm not mad at
it's
you.
It's not that I'm not entertained. It's just that's just what it's going to be.
You accept it.
Yeah, like it or not. That's just all I know is it's more fan motivated. So if there's more like-minded people like us, we could actually make the change in WWE themselves. They did it for the Cody story. They'll do it for something else if they could see it could be pushed as the next big thing. But people are fucked up with the Cody thing.
I think the fans are just as culpable because they pushed so much for some bullshit that they didn't know what the next thing would be. They just wanted their win, and that was it. And it's like, do you not see now? Like, how long does it take where people start going like, yeah, I think we should have just... Cody going for the belt was better than him actually having it.
Now it's like, I don't see them taking the belt away from Cody. Roman had it for so long. For fans to demand to finish the story is technically finished. How long will they keep him to have the belt?
I don't know.
Because that story is not really, we know it's finished, but there's supposed to be more after
what do we want? Like what do they call it? The epilogue? Like is that the end? Like after the end?
Yeah. The eulogy?
I don't remember. I might be talking about before the end. Yeah. Before the beginning, I mean. Yeah.
There's a prologue before the...
Yeah, we're watching the end credits of the Cody story.
It got to be like a extra scene where he's...
We need the Marvel scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.